financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by Thav Gross. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is, what am I supposed to do when I cannot charge it? Oh my God. Brian Small, good morning.
Good morning, Ken. A pleasure to be here this morning.
Jeffrey Linden.
Nice save. Good morning, Ken.
Jeffrey Kirschner.
Good morning.
It's a Jeffrey day.
It is. I feel we're going to make some people...
Can I call you Jeffrey too?
No, this is like does it remind
Or
you
Jeffrey
like
3?
This is my brother Daryl. This is my other brother Daryl. Yeah.
So, let's get into it. Okay, so is it such a horrible thing when you can't charge it? Brian would say, well, that's a good thing.
Not for the reason you mean, though.
From a practical standpoint, there's a lot of people, particularly these days, in a situation where their credit cards are maxed or just about to get maxed. And when that happens, it presents a major problem, because if you have fallen into the trap and you are in the situation where you're able to pay your bills and maintain the status quo only by increasing the amount of your credit card debt from month to month, during that period while the debt is growing and you're still paying everything is calm. Everybody's being paid on time. The kids have money for their clothes. There's food on the table. The mortgage payment's being made. But as soon as the credit cards tap out and you go and you ask credit card company number 11, can I get a card? And they say no. And you ask credit card number 4, can you increase my limit? And they say no. Now you're in a situation where you can't pay your bills month to month.
I'm going to tell you something. I know where you want to go with all this, but there's something very interesting about what's going on with that situation right now. When you start to reach that point, right? You're already past the tipping point and you don't even know it. Because most people these days that are walking through the door are homeowners, okay, with a lot of credit card debt. And they say, I want to file bankruptcy and wipe out my debt.
And the problem is the equity.
The equity in their home causes them to not be able to file Chapter 7 and wipe out the debt. And we are seeing more and more people with substantial amounts of equity, the inability to take out a home equity line of credit to refinance their home because of their credit card debt and their credit scores, and they're stuck because the amount of debt that they have to pay back in a Chapter 13 if they want to do anything becomes unworkable. And so
you're saying they can't do a 7 and they can't do a 13.
We look at, that's when we start to look at debt resolution. But where I'm trying to get the audience to understand is if your credit card balances are starting to head up, you need to address it now, even when you say, I can pay the minimum monthly payments. Because by the time you get to the point where you're tapped out and can't pay the minimum monthly payments, you might be having to sell your house.
Well, what is your solution in that situation? Are you suggesting they refinance to pay their credit cards?
No.
Because that's always been something we don't like.
But I'm suggesting that because of that equity position that many people are having now, you need to recognize that there's a problem sooner, and we need to start looking at budget management and looking at debt resolution.
So you did a good job of identifying a serious issue.
So the answer is not with regard to people call credit card companies a lot and can I get an increase in my credit? Once in a while they'll say yes, but they're only going to increase it maybe $2,000 to $5,000.
Very marginal
And those
point.
people who are at that level and they ask for these small increases, they're going to hit that maximum right away, and then they can't do anything, and they've
I mean,
more debt.
realistically, if you think about it, I don't know that it ever works to call and ask them to increase. They increase you by sending you notices. Congratulations, your credit limit is increased. And then all of a sudden, at some point in time, those letters stop coming and they don't give you any more increases. And then if you're calling asking for the increase, they're saying no. But I want to go back to what you said. You identified a real key point. What you're saying is, if you've got equity in the house and you allow the credit cards to max out to the point where you have no available credit and you've also hurt your credit score, you could be losing your house.
Absolutely.
So I want to know what the solution is. I love when people identify a problem, but if they identify a problem, you got to give me the solution.
Well, but the first part of the solution is being aware that there's a problem. So if your credit cards are continually going up, you're already not managing your finances.
That's a real good job. You must be co-counsel.
No,
Because you're not answering the question either.
no, I am, because
I understand.
that's the lead-in.
You've identified the problem.
But that's the
What's
lead-in.
the solution?
Because if they're going up, then you need to realize that you need to start adjusting your budget.
All right, so start.
Okay.
So then you start-
how is adjusting? So is that the solution?
That's part of the
adjusting
solution.
the budget.
Part of the solution, yeah.
How are you going to do that?
Well,
I'm being.
So if we're
I'm being
co-counsel,
argumentative
he's the
today.
hostile interloper coming
Well, I
in
want the
today.
he
solution.
doesn't look like a loper.
You've got
Maybe a leper?
40,000 people tuned in watching the show right now, and a substantial number of them are exactly in the same situation that Brian just
So
identified.
you have
So
to.
you're both saying, okay, give up the Starbucks coffee? Is that the solution?
No. So look, let's divide it into three groups of people, okay? There's the group of people that are already there that we have to find a solution for, who have too much equity, and the Chapter 7 bankruptcy is not going to be an option. There's a group of people that
Bucket A.
Bucket A. There's a group of people that are headed in that direction and have a greater likelihood of having more available opportunity to fix the problem and keep their home. And then there's bucket C of people, and those are the people that haven't gotten into the problem but are starting to feel the pinch of the economy. And those are the people that we can most help through budget management. The second group we can help through the opportunities available through bankruptcy and debt resolution. The third group are a group of people that we may just have to find a way to keep them in their house, but it may not be pretty.
Let's take a break. We'll come back.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Fav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Fav Gross today, 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Fav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Fav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Fav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
If your loved one is struggling with age-related issues, let our family help your family. Call Samasco Law now. We're family owned and growing. Meet Joe Frizzard and Kelsey Simasco, our newest superstars. We'll handle your issues with care, compassion, and dedication. At Simasco Law, we'll leave no stone unturned until your family is protected for the long term. We'll walk together. That's what families do. Simasco Law. Protect what matters.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, we're back. Now, I want to go right back to what we were talking about in a minute because I want to put things in context. I always like to introduce the three-point retirement plan. The goal is you want to own your home free and clear, have zero debt, and have some cash in the bank at the time of retirement. That is such a simple formula for a guaranteed suitable retirement that I wish there was a way that people could get ingrained into buying into that plan and executing it. It really evolves around two key points. Forget about refinancing your home. Refinancing your home is having a perpetual mortgage. And number two, you've got to get into the concept of zero debt. You don't need to drive a brand new car every 2 years just because you were born and raised in Detroit. Everyone at this table grew up with that rule. And it migrated from 2 years to 3 years when we were in our 30s and 40s. And now it's a little bit longer, but it's not necessary. If you've got a car with 50,000 miles on it that will run for till 250,000 if you take care of it with the way they're made right now, get it washed every week so it doesn't get rusty and make it and keep driving it.
How old's your car?
I have a 2019
So yours is 5 years.
Lincoln.
5 years. 2019.
2019.
This is
Almost
2026.
7 years.
7
Math
years.
doesn't
No, that's,
change.
that's my car. My wife's is a 2016.
My car will be 7 years old in June.
And
I got 45,000 miles on it.
COVID
mine's
stopped
a
putting miles
2017.
on my cars.
Yeah.
I'm on the lease cycle. I admit that my wife and I are on the
I-
lease cycle.
I-
We've got because that's part of what's gone on here with credit cards. We're more reliant upon credit cards than ever before, and people have become comfortable, and that's part of the problem. With regard to cars, especially in this area, leases, they make decent deals. Why should you buy a car? You can lease it, don't have to pay as much money. You don't think about the fact that you're perpetually going to lease, but absolutely I'm guilty of that.
Realistically, you can lease and then buy. That's what I did. Well, on one of the two cars, is I leased the car, my 2019 car, and then when COVID came, I had no miles on it, and used cars were going for a fortune.
Right.
I bought it out for the for at the lease end for the residual, and have kept it, and it's a great car. And the other car I did was back in the 0% 6-year financing. So I did that on my wife's car, and when the car was paid off, we just kept it. There.
Yeah.
And she's probably put
mine
8
in
more
the-
miles on it.
You know what?
since then.
I like our cars more. We have small little monitors in the car rather than have. I don't understand driving around in a car with a 27-inch screen blocking your view of who's in front of you. I can't even get into that.
Well, then the ones that
I'm
have
happy
that
with an
screen, it
8-inch
shows
screen.
you who's in front of you, so you don't need to see out the window.
But they also self-drive because they're Teslas. But
Right.
But the point is getting into zero debt. You have to buy into the plan. But if you do it, it works. And you can buy into the plan in your mid-50s. You just then have to accelerate with the pedal to the metal to get out of all the debt by your mid-60s. But if you buy into the plan in your 40s, it's easy. If you buy into the plan when you're getting out of college, you're going to be a multimillionaire
Right.
by the time you're 65, no matter what you do. Mm-hmm. And
live within your means. Is the
I refinanced my house 4 times. before I figured out the 3-point retirement plan. I would call up the broker and say, I've got a good house for you to refinance. This is the amount of money I want. If you can do it, call me back. If you can't, don't bother calling me. Phone would ring about, oh, well, of course we can do it, because this was before the financial crisis. You could just pick your number.
Right.
Okay. And what did I do? I would pay down my credit card debt, and then I'd ramp it back up. Stupid. Stupid. I was stupid. And anyone who does that is stupid. Does that mean it's not going to happen? No.
It's going to happen every day.
Am I mad at myself for having done it now looking back? Yeah. I would rather have all of that interest that I paid on those credit cards accumulating over the course of 20 years at 7 and 8%, maybe 10%. That's a lot of money given away. Fortunately for me, I figured it out before it was too late, and the plan worked. But if you're in that mode, you've got to buy into getting out of it. And then once you buy into getting out of it, the job is to figure out how to do that, how to execute the plan. This is the executor right here. Nobody's better at executing the plan.
Get you a black hood.
Yeah, black hood.
The executor.
Side.
But you need to buy into the plan. That's the thing. And if you buy into if you just sit there and say, I just need to solve the immediate problem. Which is the immediate problem? My credit cards are maxed out. The person who's listening to this show, who's with me and says my credit cards are maxed out, I know what you're thinking because I was there. This is what you're thinking. Oh, yeah, gross, yeah, I hear you, yeah. I just need to get some more available credit on my credit cards, is what you're saying. I just need to solve the problem for next month. I'm not worried about when I'm 70. That's 30 years away. Well, let me just give you a clue. You're 70. It goes that fast. Trust me. Been there. Still working, same wife, same kids. Your kids get older.
You don't get new kids
and all of a
trade them
sudden,
in?
and all of a sudden there's grandchildren.
Well, you can get new kids.
But you're still
you
the same.
Can't
can't trade them in.
You
though.
just
can't trade them in.
Time goes by. You've got to get into buying into the plan. If you buy into the plan, when you're 70, you're going to say, thank you. And with luck, I'll be 6 feet under, but I'll also have eyes in the sky, and I'll say, you're welcome. Let's take a break and then figure out how to solve that problem.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Thav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Thav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
The doctors ask if Dad's affairs are in order. Did Dad ever talk to you about what we should do in a situation like this?
Not a word.
What should we do?
We should have called Samasco.
Don't wait. All it takes is a quick call to Samasco Law or go online and fill out a request. We can get your needs and wishes set in stone so your family doesn't have to play a guessing game when the chips are down. Protect what matters. For power of attorney, call Samasco Law today.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Time for announcements. I want to announce Thav Gross has opened a new office downriver in the Horizon building on Eureka Road. So now we're in Flint, downriver, and also our home office in Bingham Farms. Remember, you can always come in for a free consultation. You can do it by Zoom conference, in the office, any way that works best for you. Just call 888-235-HELP or go to the website thavgross.com to sign up. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business law issues, elder law issues with Pat or Kelsey, disability issues with Jeff Kirschner. Again, sign up at lawandreality.com or thavgross.com or just call 888-235-HELP. Also, if you go to the website, you'll see there's free reports. Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by Jeff Linden and myself. Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian Small. How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure. Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan. And The Retiree's Guide to Social Security by Pat Simasko. I want to thank our sponsors, Thav Gross, Simasko Law, Kirschner Law. Now back to the show.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Thav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Thav Gross today, 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Thav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem. Okay, so I've given you my death speech. Okay, now back to door A, because that's the real hard one. Is you're saying, okay, you maxed out on the credit cards and you've got $100,000 of equity in the house,
or 200,000.
So run me quickly through. Why can't you do a Chapter 7?
So, because there's only so much equity we can protect in a home. If you are a married couple and there's no joint debt, we can protect all of the equity in the home. So one of the plans, theoretically,
get rid of the joint
is
debt.
To work on the joint debt only. So
by joint debt, you mean we've got a credit card with Visa and both
parties applied for it.
Both are on the hook. Both
Yep.
Social Security numbers are on the card.
Yep.
Okay.
So you walk in with $80,000 worth of credit card debt and $20,000 of it is joint, I'm going to say a Chapter 7 isn't an available opportunity because you have too much equity in the home and I can't protect the home at this time. So now we work on that $20,000. We don't care about the other $60,000.
Let me ask you a quick question on that. Let's just assume the three of you are married, A, B, and C. Okay.
We're in Utah?
Yeah, A, B. You've got $20,000 of credit card debt in your name. You've got 40 in your name. You've got 60 in your name. You're not joint on any of them.
So with no joint debt,
is that that's okay?
And the home is owned tenancy
Well,
by
in
the
our case,
entireties.
all three of you own it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tenancy by the entireties. So if you're a single person and you own a home, and you have too much equity, that becomes problematic. Now we're looking at how do we protect the home. We may take the home and transfer it into an LLC because that would keep the property from being liened by creditors.
Why?
Because the LLC is not garnishable or lienable.
And it's a separate entity.
It's a separate entity. If you own the home with your spouse and there's joint debt, we have that problem that we have to eliminate the joint debt. So we're going to focus on that. If you own the house with your spouse and you have $400,000 equity and there's no joint debt, most likely you still could qualify for a Chapter 7 and keep your home.
So to me, that's a real big opportunity. You zero in on doing debt resolution and budget management to pay off the joint debt.
Yeah.
And then what do you do? File a Chapter 13?
Then we file the bankruptcy. No, whether it's a 13 or a 7 doesn't make a difference.
So that's got to be a key.
But for that plan, the
aspect.
amount of equity in the home doesn't matter?
For the married couple, the amount of equity doesn't matter. What we're seeing, though, is people playing a lot of games and with their how they, I had to refinance, so I'm going to transfer the title into my wife's name. Then I'm going to refinance, transfer it into my husband's name.
That becomes a problem
and
with
it
bankruptcy,
becomes
right?
problematic with bankruptcy. On top of it, where you're seeing additional issues is the fact that people will do estate planning, okay? And what do? You transfer, the estate planner says transfer the house into the trust. That's what you do. You just destroyed your tenancy by the entireties. There's other ways to do it.
There's a big point right here. If you have debt and you know that it's lingering and a problem out there, even if it's not at the crisis point, you do not transfer assets. Your house, you don't do any deals back and forth between family members. Even if you're doing estate planning with an estate planning attorney, you hold off on transferring that deed until you talk to someone like Brian so that you vet this issue of debt. Because if you're talking to your estate planning attorney, he's not going to have the tools in the toolbox to understand the debt issues.
Well, yeah, I do the estate planning.
That's true.
So,
good point.
I mean,
But that's the advantage of coming here, where we have a multidisciplined set of people, and we understand these issues, and we do the estate planning, and we do the financial crisis.
Your practitioner that just does estate planning is not going to understand.
Yeah, they like
Exactly.
to put everything into the trust. The fact is that a ladybird deed will do the exact same
we typically
thing
don't put things into the
and
trust.
maintain the tenancy by the entirety status of the home.
I'll give you another example. When a doctor comes into me, or a professional that has exposure for professional liability on malpractice, with the potential, there's always the potential of a claim that exceeds your insurance coverage. I will never break the tenancy of entireties between doctor and spouse, because I want to protect the house and the equity in the house from an excess malpractice claim.
So just real quick, though, so the audience knows, a tenancy by the entireties is a special form of joint tenancy for married couples that can protect the non-debtor spouse from the creditor.
It's a non-divisible ownership in the property. It can't be separated.
Here's the thing that
It's
I want
entire.
everybody to get out of this show.
In the last 30 seconds.
There are opportunities to fix all of the problems, whether you're just starting to get into debt, in the middle of debt, or at the tipping point. You do not hide your head in the sand. Come get a consultation, and we will find your solution. Because I've said it before,
Yes.
and I'll say it again, the problem is individual to the individual, and the solution is individual to the individual.
So yeah, that would be a great time to end the show. But we still have another 10 seconds left. So I'm going to add, buy into the 3-point retirement plan. It means a great retirement. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with One Reality.